Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Miyuki and this is Let's Make Art, and we letter a new project every week together. And this one we are doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be teaching you guys 1-point perspective, and this is the project that we're doing. Keenan can sing along.
Also known as
There you go. You might hear him whisper that in the back, and I gave him permission.
It's going to be the occasional hum of Shine Bright Like a Diamond.
I hope we don't get in trouble.
It's not going to be high quality enough for them to know what it is.
Okay, so we're doing Shine Bright as the quote, and the supplies that I'm using are, let me flip this around. Okay, I'm using Crayola Super Tips. This is what we're learning with this fall. If you want, you can also do this with any of your brush pens or any markers, but as you can see, we're actually not going to be focusing on thin and thick lines. I'm going to be teaching you block letters. So the colors I'm going to be using are, well, you can either make up some colors, but
Pink lemonade.
oh, you beat me to it. Aisha from our customer service team gave me some other colors, so it might be some options, and you guys can decide too. Keenan says pink lemonade.
What does Aisha say?
Aisha said peony pink, which is a flower. Which peonies are different colors, but I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Aisha, you got some. Okay, you go.
Okay, it's a little lighter than Orange Crush, but we're going to go with Creamsicle Orange.
Yes! I love creamsicles. Oh. Now I feel, okay. Aisha said Sunset Orange, which is also a great color.
It's too yellow.
It is a lot more yellow, Aisha, I think, than, okay, fine. Anyways, I think it might look different than on a computer screen. Okay.
The lemon drop yellow, like the candy. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
What Aisha say?
Just yellow. Because it's yellow. Nothing wrong, that's yellow. Oh, I think we've done this color. Oh, she said something different. I called it lavender, I think.
Yeah. Was that the purple Gatorade?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
Licorice black.
Oh, okay, good. Aisha said lilac.
Oh, that is a good color.
Which is a really good lilac, too.
Yep.
So, a lot of them are flower names. Okay, so those are the 5 different colors. I will also be using, I remembered, a ruler. So, as you can see when you're looking at this, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create the shadows or 3D letterings, and having a ruler will help. If you don't have a ruler, you also can just use anything that has a flat edge. So whether that's your Bristol paper board, or even if you have a box, you can just cut that up and use the edge. You just need something that's flat for you to help with. And then the paper, like I said, the final project is going to be on Bristol paper. And then as always, I have my handy dandy pencil. So any pencil will be good for you guys. Okay, these steps. There are 6 different steps. So the first one is there are practice worksheets that are available on our website at letsmakeart.com, and these are for free, so you can get that. This is one that I created to help teach you guys how to do block lettering. So the first step is we're going to be going through block lettering with this worksheet. The second step is, let me move this, is we're going to do the pencil sketch of this, so using your pencil. The third step is using your ruler to draw the lines. The fourth step is we're going to color in the black. The fifth step is the color shadows. And the 6th step is shine bright. I'm going to wait for that every time. So those are the 6 different steps that we're going to be doing. So let's get started. Okay, practice worksheet. Oh wait, this will help so you guys can see that. Am I good?
Yes, will you push it up a little higher?
Man. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready. So for this, you can either use your pencil or you can use a marker. If you want to get comfortable with starting to use these markers, you can go for that and use that. So I'm going to use the black marker. What I did was these are all just a computer font. I can't remember if I might have used Helvetica, but I just picked a basic block font. And so the goal for this is for you guys to see and break down letter forms. So this is a little bit different than what we've been doing, but I want to help train your eye to see the structure of letters, because you're not just drawing a B, you're drawing a line and two shapes, like two humps, like a camel. So you're thinking of it a little bit different. So to help gain that muscle memory, what I thought would be a good exercise for us is you'll see this is what we're going for, or the final product. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually outline, just to kind of see what the shapes of these letters are, is I'm just gonna outline the gray parts of this. And then draw the inside. So that way, I'm looking at this as different shapes that form this B. So then I created a block for you to practice to do this on your own. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna draw a line. So then the B is a hump, and then another hump, and then smaller ones inside. So when you're doing this, you can also experiment if you like. If you want to mix it up, and maybe naturally, if you're not even thinking about it, your B, maybe your first hump ends up being bigger, and your second one's a little bit smaller. They are all B's and all great. So it's okay if yours looks a little bit different, but the goal of this is just to, like I said, to train your brain to see these letters as shapes that you're drawing. So for the C, do the same thing and just draw the outline, and then do this. So the goal is that, like I said, we're just practicing our block lettering, so that's why they're not connecting, they're not cursive. If you've been with us before, what I've actually taught before was bubble lettering, so I did this in the Shine Bright project, Stars Don't Shine project with our watercolor one. And so what I did there, which you can also do here, is you start out with the skeleton or the bones of the letter, like Keenan likes to call it, right? Isn't that what you said?
Bones?
The bones? What project? Well, that was another project that you said that.
I must have forgotten.
I remember you said it at one point. But what I was saying is you draw the first part, and then what you're going to do is when you're drawing your block or your bubble letters is that you're going to think of a little bit of space in between, and you're going to pretend that that same space goes all the way around, and then do the same thing here. And so it goes like that. And then, that's a little dry. You erase your skeleton part, or your bones, and then you have the same exact thing. So if it's a little bit too hard in the beginning to do this first, just right away, go ahead and draw your bones first, draw your letter first, and then outline it around. Let's see. Do you think it'll help if I do it all and then we fast forward?
Do each letter the same way you already have?
Yeah. Would that help you guys? I wish you could answer me.
I wish they could answer.
Maybe I'll just do it, and then when it gets edited, we can decide what makes more sense for you guys. I'll just do it maybe I'll talk and find something to teach you guys. But the only thing that I didn't want to say as I keep going with this is the difference between block and bubble lettering is really slight. So bubbles are round, and so they, let's see, the E is a great example. So if I were to do bubble letters for my E, my outline may not be as sharp. So if you're looking especially at these corners, whereas when I'm doing more block, I'm thinking of this more as a block. We started with a block that was chiseled to create my sharp lines. So this is block, and this is bubble. That's my handwriting. So you guys can see that my handwriting's not the best. But the reason why I want to explain this is that when we go to our final project, it's going to be helpful for you to have more blocks, so more corners, rather than bubble for when we do the shadows. It'll help you guys figure out where to make your shadows. So I'll just go through it, but we can fast forward. Okay. I starred a few of them because I wanted to talk to you guys. During it, I was telling Keenan some letters are weird. What letter? Oh,
Q.
Q. X is weird. You can see my X got a little funky. So what's happening is, I forgot, I started the ones I wanted to talk about. The Q and the X. So what's happening is that you have this line here. And so when these don't line up exactly, well, that one's actually okay. This was why this one looks a little bit funky, is that this is a solid line, but it looks like it goes, this looks like a line and that looks like a line, rather than a line like that. So on those cases, what really might help is if you go back and do the bare bones, the bones of the skeleton, like I said, and then outline. That way I'm just going parallel to the skeleton line that I already made, and that feels a lot better. Than what I did before. So the Q, that was the same point that I wanted to make, is that when you have a line like that, that will help. Okay, the R. So fonts are different. Every font is going to be a little bit different if you do this on your own and you pick even your own font. This R has a little fun tail at the end, and so you can choose to draw that or you don't have to. I just wanted to call that out. And the same on G's. So, Keenan, if you drew a G, would you draw it like that? Or how would you draw it? It looks like an arrow.
It does look like an arrow.
Wow, I never knew that. I went to school for graphic design. Okay, would you draw your G like that?
No, I don't ever do that little,
Yeah.
whatever that is on the side.
Keenan's doing this. I wish you could see. Yes, so I don't either. So what I would probably do naturally, oops, flying pens. Is I would do it like that without that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you. So up to you. Just wanted to call those things out. And then I wrote oops because on the M I forgot to delete the space for you guys. So you get an extra M, as Keenan said. So that is step one, practicing your letters. Have that handy for when we go through the final project. It might help to have that next to you. Okay. I created another practice worksheet for you guys that would go either in this kit if you have the kit or the box. This is all the items that would be in the box.
Who was right?
Oh, that's what you wanted me to repeat.
It was Keenan.
I can't say. Keenan was right. Okay, well, you know what? I'll just make it up on the spot. If you can see, this is the step-by-step sheet. What I did was I have, bummer. I hope that's in your guys' box now that I think about it. If it's not, here's how you make up your own. What it was is they were boxes. This is probably good to show even if you want to do this on your own. So as you guys know, I like to create template layouts for you to help get you started if you have a blank sheet of paper. Fake out. Do this on your final piece. Now I'm flustered.
Oh, don't be.
I don't remember. Okay, well.
It's Wednesday.
I'm
Hump day?
Thanks for making me laugh. Okay, well, we're just going to do it on this practice. This is just a practice sheet, and then. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing myself my Shine Bright template. Okay. So we're just going to be combining a couple steps in this one lesson. I'll just do this at the same time. What we're doing is, like I said, 1-point perspective. And that is how, when you look at this, how you can see that there's shadows coming up and then shadows coming down. I don't know if you want to call them shadows or just light reflections. Up to you, up for interpretation. But how you create this is that there is a focal point. So the focal point is where you're starting. And you can choose where your focal point is. It could be up here, it could be down here. Just for ease purposes for this first project, I want to show it in the beginning. And if you think about it, what a focal point is, I'm going to show you. If you were looking, let's pretend, you can close your eyes. I'm just kidding. We're going to pretend that we're looking outside and you see the horizon line. So where the sky meets the ground. Got it?
Got it.
That's this line.
Okay.
When you're looking at a point, you see the road. Pretend like whatever.
Oh. Yes.
That's the road. These are your trees. Like my kid drawing?
That's nice.
The whole point of my little drawing lesson was to show you what we're going for. So it's not necessarily a light source, which is when we do shadows, it's a light source that's creating a shadow. This is just when you're looking at something, what's actually you'll visually see. And I didn't learn this until I went to school to draw. So don't feel inadequate if you didn't know this before. Okay, so I'm going to draw my horizon line. And what we're going to do, if you have this in your box, you could have zoomed through that whole of me drawing it. But this is what the practice worksheet would have looked like. And so I'm trying to think. I'm going to first, because we were practicing the letters, I got way ahead of myself and talked about 1-point perspective. But let's first draw our letters and then we'll figure out how to draw the 1-point perspective. So if you want to do the same quote as I did shine bright. And what we're going to do is in this, I would like you to use this as a reference and sketch out your letters. So if it's easier for you, like I showed, draw your skeleton. And then you can also either look at here at your reference at the shape of an S, or you can just outline it. So I'm going to use this as my guideline. S's are another funky shape because sometimes you might have a small top and a larger bottom or the opposite. Again, either one works. Typically, they're pretty symmetrical. Actually, I wouldn't even say typically because S's that look like that are still great. So I'm just going to outline my edges. And again, like I said, I'm going to make these a little bit harsher rather than more bubble, which is kind of what I naturally do. So my corners I'm going to keep straight. And I'm doing this on the practice worksheet first, and then I think I'm going to go to the final one at the end. Okay. I will, you know what? I'm trying to figure out if we should fast forward. Yes. Okay, fast forward. Bye. Okay, we are back, and what I did also, if you guys saw, is I erased my skeleton lines. It's funny now looking at this, if I'm designing this, some of these letters, for example, this I, gonna be kind of figuring out, was a little bit wider, so I just want to make that a little bit skinnier. Okay, so now my 1-point perspective lesson is relevant because we can start with the bottom because this makes more sense. This is how roads would look like. So what we're going to do is that think of all of these as different roads that are going to your focal point. So to do this, is everything in view?
Yes.
Okay, So what we're doing is we are taking the corners of your letters. So right here is my B, and I'm going to take the corner of that and go towards my dot. I am rethinking myself and thinking that an X might help a little bit more so that I can see that middle point. You know what's even better, just for practice purposes? There's my dot. So that's my dot I'm going towards. So I'm taking the corner of my B and drawing a line towards that. And then when it comes to curves, it's a little bit less obvious, but what I'm looking at is, let's see, the furthest point. So on this time, my second hump was a little bit long or wider. So I'm going to take the furthest point, just probably like there, and drawing that. So then if you think about it, if you're saying, okay, Nicole, I'm going to listen to Nicole and I'm going to think about the corners of the letters. If I take this corner to here, it would go, it's actually behind this letter, so I don't even need to draw it. So think of this, which is why at the end we're going to do this, which maybe it'll help you guys. Pretend this is a solid color. And that way, anything that's behind it, you don't have to draw. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Whereas this line doesn't hit anything, and this line, it hits the R, but I will explain that in a little bit. But it doesn't hit any part of the B, whereas this line would hit this B, hit that part of the B and everything. So I'm not going to draw that because we're thinking of this whole B as casting a shadow rather than each individual part is what we're drawing right now. So then moving on to the next letter is do the same thing, take this corner, find my focal point, draw a line. Let's see, the furthest point, this is it a little bit further, so I'm going to take this furthest whitest point, draw a line to my focal point. So again, if I take this corner, it hits that. If I take this, it hits the R right there. If I take this, it hits the R there. So essentially, I'm pivoting my ruler. Now, when I'm looking at the R and the B, what's being casted is that there's two different lines. So what I thought was cool, and if you look at this, is that it looks like the I is in front of the R, which is in front of the B. Can you see that?
Yes.
Rather than the B in front of the R. So that is why what I chose was that the innermost colors, this ends up being the same thing. The innermost letters are going to be what's in front, and then out this way, it's going to go behind. So because of that, what I'm thinking is that this takes priority over the B, or is going to be in front of it. So I'm going to erase this line that was actually drawn from my B. This is my B line, and this is my R line. So I'm going to erase this because the R is in front of it, so you won't even see it. And the reason why I hesitated earlier was the I actually would take priority over the R and the B. However, it ends up working pretty gosh darn nicely that that corner actually hits right there. So it doesn't even matter. And this is interesting. My I is pretty much on my same line. Maybe there's a little bit being shown. Like that. Okay. So I think it will help. This is going to be a little bit longer video. I think it'll help for me to just go through the whole letter instead of fast forwarding or the whole quote. So for this one, the widest point, so because there is no hard points like on the B and the R and the I, this is a curve. So I'm going to take the widest point, so it's about there. So draw a line from there to there. And then the same thing. These are about the same, so let's do that. Oh, so if you accidentally go over it like that, I need to shift this a little bit. Okay, so then when I'm looking at my G, I ended up, even though I'm contradicting myself, because if I were to do what I was saying in this corner, it hits this G, and so I usually wouldn't draw it. However, if you look at this letter, if this part wasn't circled in or colored in, it would look a little weird. It'd look a little bit lost. So it needs to have something that's grounding it, and because there's this open space, you do have to take this and give your letter something to start from. So I'm going to take this corner and just draw that. So I know I need to color this part in and this part in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to keep reassuring me because I want to make sure that people get this.
Because otherwise that G would just look wonky.
It would just look like it's floating.
Yeah.
So I need something to anchor it. Okay. The H's make sense. There. So I'm not going to draw, I'm thinking of this as a block, so I can draw that, but I'm just going to take the whitest part on the left and the whitest part on the right. And draw that here. So this is the same situation because, yeah, this takes a little bit more thinking. This is why it was a little bit complicated. If we're thinking of the light source, so in this situation, my light source is from the bottom right. I'm just specifically talking about the H. The H is casting this shadow, and so that is why, actually, that's a better way of explaining it, that you need to have something. So on here, if this was empty, it'd look weird, so I need to have something anchoring it, so I'm going to start with this corner. And that feels better. Okay. Same thing. Line.
So you would do the same thing with the left side of the R, yes?
Dang. Yeah. Good job. I'm trying to think, why wouldn't it do it with the B then?
Because the B is like the G where you fill it in.
Yeah. Okay, because it's a whoa. Our friend the fly. Because it's a curve shape. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. That is what it is. Okay, because it's a curve shape. So when it's a hard shape. Yes, thank you. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Now we're going to take the top part, and so it's the opposite where it's going to be going down towards the focal point, but it's the same concept. We're thinking about what's the widest part on both sides. So this widest part here is right here. However, it hits that, so I'm going to choose this wide part. The widest part here. And because I know, I'm going to do this one where I'm going to start with the I and then go outwards, actually. I think that might be easier. Because now I'm going to go to the H. It blocks that. So this is going to actually be in front, so I'm not even going to draw that. So the widest part of my H on the left side is there. So just like Keenan was saying, that because this isn't a curved shape, I need to anchor it somewhere, and so I need to start from this point. Yes. That feels better. Okay, now this way. For this part here is here. Here. If, you know what, if you are also guessing? No, I don't know. I won't know. So don't feel bad if you feel like you're not doing it right. The whole point is you're just drawing shadows and it looks really cool.
It looks good from my house.
Okay. That's what matters. Oh! After teaching this, you know what that means then? Can people see my problem? You can comment in the comments if you can see. There's one letter that I'm now realizing what we just learned.
E.
Yeah. This. See, I messed up on our own project. And actually, I think it'd be right here. Right? So I'm supposed to have this colored in. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I know I need to do that here. Learning on the spot. How we roll. Okay. Now that you have a whole bunch of scribbles, you have the option now to do this whole thing again if you'd like to on your final Bristol paper, or you can use the light if you have a light box. If not, we
carry them.
Are you not on mute?
I think I was not muted.
Okay. You heard Keenan.
We have them, and there will be more. We had some shipped by air and some shipped by sea.
We have light boxes. So I'm going to trace this onto my Bristol paper, and I'm going to actually just use black first. So this is our 4th step, just using black lettering. Okay, we're gonna zoom for this.
Zoom.
Okay. Okay, we are back on, and you saw I just colored in all of my letters. So I was just using my Crayola Super Tip, and I felt like a kid just coloring them in. So now what we're going to do is grab all your colors. You can use any colors that you'd like. Maybe you do all warm colors, maybe you do a rainbow, do all sunset colors. But I'm going to be using these 4. And so I'm going to be coloring in the, what'd you call it, reflection or shadow? Well, reflection is more on top.
The reflection is the black letters. I meant shadow. The black letters are the shadow. Because if you're looking at a horizon and you're looking that the light is coming from the horizon, yeah, I would say that that's your...
That's a cool way of seeing it. I love it. I love learning how people see things because that's just a totally different perspective on seeing it.
The other thing, too, I see it as like they're rushing at us. They're coming to us.
Yeah.
Like a movie credit.
Yes, I was trying to think of what movie, but I actually looked it up before last night. And I don't know if you're also thinking of this, but you're thinking of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I realized the lettering comes, it's a little bit different where...
Yeah, there's rolls through.
Yeah, rather than this is more like we're at one plane,
right. And
then it comes this way. Theirs, I think, goes like this.
I pretty much think of any dancers? Well, that's, I think that's an Egyptian move. I don't know.
But sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say, I think of like either Star Wars or Star Trek whenever like the title of the movie like, or show pops on, you know? That's what I thought of.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, however you see it, we're going to be drawing that part. So what I suggest to do is you have all these lines. Erase the ones that you don't need, so just have the ones that you need. And if it helps you, you can even do like what I was saying, was start with the middle ones and go out this way and then go out this way. I think I'm gonna do that just so I don't accidentally color the wrong one. So I'm gonna start with the eye. So when you're doing this is, if you want to draw your focal point, maybe I'll just draw it in a light yellow. I just don't want to have a big black dot. You can, and maybe that's like it's getting sucked into the universe. So you can do that one.
Black hole.
The black hole. And I'm just going to freehand this, but if you want to use your ruler, you can also do that. So we're simply coloring it in. When it comes to these markers, and any markers you might use, whenever you have a black color, try not to get too close to it because you might accidentally smear a lot of it. It's okay if it happens, but just know to be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to mention, so this is this line, is when I color with these type of markers, you can see that there's a pointy part and there's a little bit wider part. I actually angle my pen a little bit more like this, and I'm trying to think which way I want to do it, is I draw, and so I'm using the wider part of this. So I'm not coloring like this because then it just gets the pointy part. I'm coloring and creating wider strokes like this by just using, by changing the angle of it.
You're attacking it from a different angle.
Look at you using that terminology. I love it. Yes. And because these are water
Soluble. Potent. Shine bright like a diamond.
gosh, they're water something. I don't know what the word is. It's not. I keep wanting. I think my brain trips out because I want to say water resistant, and that's not what they are because you can.
They're water anti-resistant.
Yeah, you can definitely paint with them. But what I was going to say is that you can kind of see some of the lines that I drew. That doesn't bother me. If it does, just add another couple layers. They're just a little bit more transparent like watercolors. So just know that while you're doing that. Okay, we're going to fast forward while I color this in. You can pause and do it at the same time. I'm just also switching different colors. So there's not any really rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. Just have fun. Okay. Oh, unpause. If you need a buffer or something and you accidentally feel like you're smearing your colors, just use another piece of paper. Okay, now go. And we're back. Okay, that was a lot of coloring. My hand's kind of cramping a little bit actually. But I wanted to talk through what I just did and what you guys saw. So you saw me do the different color rays. Ooh, I'm gonna call it that, color rays.
Got a lot actually.
So the different color rays, and then what I did was I went back over it on one more layer with black. So if you saw, the black was a little bit just lighter, and I wanted these to have more of a solid, strong color. So that's why I went over it again. It is really cool when you put the two side by side. Oh, this paper I must have cut. I cut this paper. This is a 9 by 12, but it's cool to see the differences where these letters are a lot further out or further up and further down, and so that's why these sun rays look a little bit longer. Am I making that up, or is that what's happening?
No, you're right.
Okay, it's hard for me to see what you guys are looking at. So they just feel like they're more extended further. So it's cool. I'm excited to see how yours look. Maybe if you drew them a lot further, or maybe you draw them a little bit wider. However you do this, I'm excited to see. Keenan had a little encouraging word also, I don't know if you remember, that I wanted him to say when I did this, and I realized.
I remember saying something encouraging.
He did.
But I don't remember how I said it.
It was along the lines of, don't worry if you realize after the fact that you missed something, just like here, and that it's okay that
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what
Yeah,
you said.
because you rediscovered or discovered that you didn't finish the E on the actual project, and I just said, oh, well, but you did discover it, so it doesn't matter when you fix it, you're gonna see it.
Yeah, and it didn't look, to me, it didn't look wrong before.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, so don't worry too much about it being correct. Again, this is just a fun new exercise that's a different way of looking at lettering than we have done in the past, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have a Facebook group called Let's Make Art Lettering that I'd love for you to join if you're not a part of. And then we have an Instagram called Let's Go Make Art. Tag us. We want to share your guys' work. This is a very supportive, great community. And this is a part of our fall box. I'll see you guys later. Bye.